And a Schwabenund skate park has a new home and it opens today.
Yes, we first alerted you last year. The Green Bay Action Sports Organization had to leave its original location after finding out the building was sold. Kristen Allen joins us live in studio to tell us about this new facility. Good morning.
An exciting day for the Green Bay Action Sports Organization. The community rallied around the organization when it had to vacate its old building. A new building was found last September and they started moving in. Today it will finally open. The new Green Bay Sports Action Organization will be inside the old Gordmans on Holmgren Way in Ashwaubenon. It's 19,000 square feet. That's about 6,000 square feet bigger than the previous building. The organization has been busy moving in and building ramps. The original building was on Ashland Avenue, where the organization had been renting for a discounted rate since 2014. But then the building sold, and that's when they were forced to find something new. The community rallied around the organization, donating money to help Green Bay Action Sports Organization find a new home.
It's just a really strong community here at GBASO, and it shows. And I think this space is gonna really cultivate that even more because it's such an awesome place.
Doors open at noon today. There will be a ribbon cutting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and the first 150 people there today will get a gift. We have more information about the Green Bay Action Sports Organization on our website at WBAY.com. We'll be right back after the break.